And welcome back to brainstemschool.com. And you are today going to have a very brief introduction to classes and objects. So classes and objects are a vast topic that we'll get into all the aspects of throughout the lessons, but this is simply the introduction to it. And you really can't fully understand Python without having a grasp on the concept of objects and classes, because in Python everything's an object. The thing is, up to this point, we've been getting away with kind of ignoring that fact and using Python as if it were any other language. But the truth is, when you have object-oriented programming, you really unlock a lot of the strength in the Python language. So you've used classes already. You've used objects already. So when you create a string, that string itself is an object. So for instance, if I have a string, don't know what's happening, so let's refresh the page. And there we go. When you create a string, we'll call this one message. In fact, we can do this over in the interactive window. So if we print the message, no big deal there, it just says, hi there, how are you? But then we can say message dot, learn to type here, message dot title, and it changes it. We can say, we can split it on the spaces, and, oh, I shouldn't have called it list, that was silly. Let's call it message list. And we'll inspect it, and we'll see that it's now a list of strings. So an object, okay, an object is essentially any kind of a data item that has both data and actions. So in this case, the data is the characters of the string, and the actions are these methods that you can apply to it. So this is one of the many built-in object types. You've seen string and list. So for instance, a list has these data items, hi there, how are you, these strings, and the actions that we can apply to that list, such as sort, for instance, that's an action. And in this case, well, coincidentally, that was in dictographic order, which basically is a case-sensitive organization. But let's make a different list. And now you see, with new list, it started as ZYX. When I ran the sort method, it became XYZ. So objects are something you're already familiar with, but the concept is to access one of the member methods or to access one of the actions that can be applied to that method, you use the dot. So an example would be, an example of a method that is not a member method would be if I were to use the sorted method. So in this case, let's create another list. And if I were to say yet another equals sorted of another list, now you can see that another list is unchanged, but yet another is changed. So the sorted method is not a member method, but it's a method that will act using the data that's in another list. On the other hand, the dot sort method acts upon the object that it belongs to. So, in summary, objects are something you've already used, and we will very shortly learn how to create our own. But the way to access elements that exist within the object, or the way to access methods that can act upon the object, is to use the dot. So hopefully I was able to explain this in a way that makes sense. Please post any questions you have in the comments, or if you want to send me an email as well. And definitely head over to brainstemschool.com, check out the ebook, and if you're here looking at the YouTube channel, please go ahead and click subscribe and click a couple likes, and I would very much appreciate that. Otherwise, have a great rest of the day and happy coding.